The Muzzle Dogs have been released, and I'm hopping mad. Threats of legal action against an ordinary citizen speaking their mind is just not fair. What is RecFishSA doing? Spending our funds on spurious legal action. A retraction printed in the Country Times newspaper last week concerning a letter to the editor sent in by Trevor Watts, a former executive officer of SAFAC, now RecFishSA, has me thinking there's something fishy going on, and not for the greater good. This retraction poses a number of serious questions. Firstly, there must be legal action pending against Mr. Watts, otherwise the newspaper wouldn't have printed the retraction. I would presume RecFishSA sought legal advice about the original letter to the editor in order to seek recompense. This would involve Mr. Watts being directed to publish an apology in all media where the letter was published. In past experience, failure to do so would escalate the action against him. There are significant issues and questions at play here. Firstly, one has to wonder why RecFishSA has taken legal action in the first place, especially weeks out from a state election. Don't forget, they've been under fire for years, culminating in the Labor Party announcement that if elected, it will withdraw its peak status and its government funding. Would this action alone incite them to move now on Mr. Watts, who has criticised the organisation for a number of years, and rightly so? I know it's an old ploy by outgoing politicians to sue a reporter or media outlet in order to get a big payout for defamation damages to fluff up their retirement fund. But could this be the case with RecFishSA? One has to wonder. Or is the action more to do with muzzling critics leading up to the election? Is it a way of sending a message to all those citizens who do not like the way RecFishSA operates to shut their proverbial gobs in the next 6 weeks or face similar action? Being closely tied to PIRSA and the Labor government, on which it relies for its funding, one has to ask the question, who is funding the legal action? If it is RecFishSA, then surely the money could be better spent in areas of great need for the recreational fishing community, of which it supposedly represents. Has there been any outside advice from government agencies and minders on what they should or could do to quieten the chorus of angst against them? These are legitimate questions that need to be raised. If the organisation was given such advice, then that opens up a whole new barrel of worms. As far as funding the action, RecFishSA has been beating the drum of late, claiming it is woefully underfunded compared to other similar interstate organisations. Then you ask, if that is the case, how has it found a whole heap of money to take such action? Because this doesn't come cheap. In anyone's words, using the legal system to muzzle an elderly war veteran on a disability pension is very much un-Australian. This is a man who has wisdom from having been there. In my opinion, such action could be seen as a way to bully Mr. Watts to stop his critique of RecFishSA. Or could it be more sinister than that, and be of a more personal nature? Anyway, has the organisation really thought through this action? I mean, if it escalates, the organisation will no doubt be asked to provide all of its emails, board minutes, grant applications, grant receipts, financial statements, and documents highlighting that it has and is complying to its Charter of Operations. It will be an extremely costly exercise. And does RecFishSA have such deep pockets? One has to wonder. Anyway, with the election so close and so tight for Labor, this will not be the last time the Muzzle Dogs will be let off the leash.